What's up? Happy New Year's. I want to go into this year to kind of lace you guys with information. Unfortunately, in this day and age, a lot of us don't have the skills, the techniques, and capabilities to defend ourselves and the ones that we care about the most. So I decided to take this time to briefly indulge you in some of the techniques that can help save your life from somebody else's. So without further ado, let me show you how to kick some ass in 2025, okay? Don't mind the broken headset. That's just, focus on the damn presentation, man. Stop worrying about my shit. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Here we have the Bible of fight styles, written yours truly by the prophetic child of philosophical prophecy, some shit. I kind of always make up some shit. Here we go. Gosh, let's just start the damn presentation. All right, first, but certainly not least, that's not even how the saying goes. Here we have subject A. The first style we'll be covering is the grabbing technique. This is something you'll typically see in every Section 8 neighborhood from approximately 7:30 to 12 p.m. midnight in every project section building. Okay, so basically what'll happen is, this usually happens on Fridays and Saturdays. Sundays is the Lord's Day, so you won't see this as much, but it's still possible if you look in the corner of every church's chicken. Basically, what the female will do, right? They don't have, what I honestly believe from my research is they don't have a lot of motor control, basically. So when they're in high tense situations, they lack motor control up to their wrist, right? They kind of tense up naturally. So by adaptation and through evolution, they've developed a technique surrounded by this flaw, right? And this is science. They'll lunge forward, right? Usually they'll lunge forward with the head first, not with the hands, right? They'll lunge forward. Use this as kind of like, they'll use the recessive hand, right, to throw them off balance, then come forth with the hook, right, to grab and maintain contact with the scalp, right, in which case they're trying to ultimately rip the hair off of the said individual that they have beef with. This is a very illegal form of fighting, however very effective depending on the situation that you're in, right? Now this is also very effective if you have what I like to call Felicia claws. Basically you have very excessive nails, right? Especially if you have those, I don't know if they're clip-ons or whatever, they install like the nails in your nails so they get longer and stuff. Very effective if you have those as well. Possible risk of breaking your whole fucking fingernail off, but something to take into consideration, right? So this is the first basic fight style if you don't have one yet, okay? Now, the second fight style is very ineffective. I would not recommend it whatsoever. This is the talking shit / instigating fight style, right? As you can see, my boss over here, talking a lot of shit, getting a little bit hostile, getting a little bit disrespectful. Me, I'm trying to follow proper company procedure and protocol and simply notify somebody, maybe even contact the emergency hotline. But no, this nigga has his own different prerogative, okay? Now, what do you do in this situation, ladies and gentlemen? Do you tolerate this shit, or do you stand up for yourself? Assuming the latter, right? You start to up your tone, right? Now this is something they're not used to, right? So now it's starting to get a little bit more hostile, right? He says some shit about your mom, right? Unacceptable. Those are fighting words, young man, right? And you're gonna have to pay the consequences for it, right? Now the great thing about niggas that do this typically don't really know how to fight, right? Now there is the off chance, right, where the nigga's actually a high caliber mystical fighter, but he was just posing to really instigate you to want to make the first move. That way, if you do try to take the shit to court, your ass is gonna lose, right? It's a very sneaky yet tricky and profitable way to make bread if you were that type of nigga. But 9 times out of 10, he's gonna end up in the picture to your right, flat on his ass. Right? So you don't have much to worry about that. This is not a fighting style that I would recommend. However, if you do encounter this, don't be alarmed. Just talk your shit, the nigga will probably run away half the time. All right, now here is the most unacceptable, forbidden fight style across generations, if not cultures of just different forms of life. Anybody that grew up in the hood knows this is not tolerated when you have beef with somebody, okay? What is one of the main things that you see? What do you notice here? You'll notice that in both of these images here, I don't know why this is the case, but the brothers, for some reason, is attacking our oppressors from behind. Absolutely unacceptable, especially considering our history. Nigga, we're better than that, okay? And frankly, I don't know what the nigga over there on the right-hand side is up to, but I don't even... How did that man even end up in that position? Basically, what this is letting me know is they're managing to somehow grab them from behind, get them from behind, pause, and force them in a state of submission. Unacceptable. Next. Now, this, depending on the circumstance, is acceptable. However, there are certain situations where it's not. Okay, tackling is a very brute force of contact. Okay, you do so correctly, you'll be able to knock your opponent off balance and gain a certain sense of dominance over them. However, if you do so incorrectly, you're at risk of not only injuring yourself, your ankles, your knees, you're also at risk of injuring your spine as well as your brain. And that's something that's very hazardous to your fucking health. So I would not recommend this style of fighting whatsoever, unless you're in football, in which case you've already signed a contract to gaining CTE and whatever other potentially fatal diseases come with getting the shit knocked out of your brain on a daily basis. So, yeah, this is another fight style that has its pros and cons. However, it's up to you to utilize it how you see fit. And now this is somewhat of the softer fighting styles, ladies and gentlemen. This is something you typically see in a kindergarten playground, okay? Now, if you're seeing any two grown-ass adults, male or female, engaging in this sort of activity that you see in front of you, chances are, one, they're gay. Two, they're gay. I really don't, because I'm gonna be honest, straight niggas don't fight like this, bro. You telling me Jean-Claude Van Damme and Bruce Lee is doing this shit? Or is RuPaul and maybe, I don't fucking know, the nigga from Brady Bunch more likely to do some shit like this? Exactly. And you can't even say I'm wrong, because it's true. It's easy to envision, bro. Now, there's nothing wrong with this style of fight, okay? It's just soft. It's the softer version, right? Doesn't necessarily make it wrong. It's just more controlled, yet soft, yet also, because of its softness, completely unnecessary. So you're better off just talking shit, right? And then squaring up, duking up with closed fists than doing some shit like this. But, if you're new to the fighting realm, I would recommend trying this style once or twice just to kind of get in a feel of things. Say you've engaged in a couple of hostile activities here and there without the public knowing that you just pushed a nigga. You know what I'm saying? So you can get away with that. It'll be our little secret. But I'm still clowning your ass if I get the footage of it, though. Next up, we have the talk. No. This is a different version of the talking shit style. So there's the hostile version, and then there's a passive-aggressive, peaceful version, right? The quote-unquote Gandhi version. And that nigga... Anyway, so basically, as you see here, we have a young Caucasian brother. He is currently smiling, has his eyes closed. He's very peaceful, very passive, right, in this state, right? Now, I'm speaking on behalf of those who don't know who this man is. So for those that do, just have fun with me here, okay? So to those that don't know who this man is, his name is his name is Mark, right? His name is Mark, and basically he believes that he is capable of saving his hood, right, from people that are shooting, stealing, robbing, sneaking, weaving, shooting, boxing, right? He thinks he has the capability to save his hood, right? How fucking gullible, right? But adorable, right? It's respectable. So what he does, right? He takes it upon himself, right, to leave his hood, right, after realizing he has the ability to defeat all the badness within his hood. He decides to leave the hood, right? Get a white chick, lay up with her for like some months or some shit. Then his niggas that is dying out in the streets have to pull up to his crib in fucking Malibu, right? And get this nigga to realize, like, hey, you need to lock in. But he's making the face to your left, like being passive aggressive, like, oh no, I'm about I don't know, I'm better now, like, some shit like that. Niggas trying to basically escape the hood and the projects and some shit. Nigga, you can't. So basically what they do is they beat his ass. They basically beat his ass, basically. And so this is what happens on the right-hand side, right? Now, there's no need for you to be alarmed. You can be successful with this passive-aggressive style. However, this is not the manner to do it. The situation that Mark was in, he was in a position where he had to fight, right? Because he had a responsibility, right? But instead, the nigga, messing up, and then his, so, yeah. So, anyway, moving on. The next style of fighting is getting into more of the unique and special territory, right? But anybody is capable of doing it. This is what we call... To those that don't know what this is called, it's called. I'm trying to think. Should I actually give y'all a game? All right, I'm not gonna gatekeep. All right, this is what we call. This is what we call hockey. Okay, hockey is basically another translation or word that I like to use for intimidation factor. Okay, now as you see, the man on the left is in the sea, right? He's in the ocean, right? He's swimming and he's suddenly caught off guard by the sea monster that you see on the right hand side. Okay, now the sea monster is literally humongous, right? With his mouth gaping wide open, about to munch this nigga for breakfast, right? And it's 12 o'clock, probably 3:30, but you get it. So what this dude does on the left-hand side is he doesn't squint, right? He dilates his pupils. It's a skill that some people do have. He dilates his pupils to give the impression of him focusing in on the object that he's looking at. Now this is very effective, especially in a street fight, because if a nigga, is trying to press you and you got his homeboys with you, you do this shit, them niggas is gone. You know what I'm saying? They can have switches and shiesties a whole 9 yards. If they see you do some shit like that, if you do it like properly, in like in a well-lit area where they can see the dilation of your eyes, you got it in the bag. All right, so this is what we call hockey. Now there's different types of hockey, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. I'm just introducing you to the basic technique. You should practice that, and yeah, it'll be very useful. Okay, now here we're getting into more ultimate fight styles. Now these are for people who have already been in their fair share of altercations and, you know, are just looking to kind of add more to their palette, add more to their inventory. Okay, so come along with me. Now this is the basic. Okay, if you don't know how to do this, then you're obviously lying. You're saying that you know what you're doing when fighting, because there is no other way to fight other than this, or this is one of the basic ways. Boxing. Okay, keep your guard up. Protect yourself at all times. That basic rules of boxing, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now, there's different styles. You have orthodox, southpaw, ambidextrous, right? Sumo. You know what I'm saying? There's different ways to go about boxing. Now, one of the main fundamental factors here is with boxing, there's somewhat of a unspoken rule. Okay. No matter what, if you get knocked on the ground, that's it. You lost. You lost. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Of course, in a professional environment, right, you can still redeem yourself and shit like that. But like in the heat of a moment, like a nigga just press you and some shit and you get knocked on the ass, pause. That's it. The only way to redeem yourself after that, you gotta not only knock him out, but all of the niggas that's with him. You're gonna have to run a fade attack. I'm sorry. These are our streets. Okay. Next up, we have Shaolin Kung Fu. This honestly should not even be in this category because of how sacred it is to me. But this is one of the base forms, let's say, of Shaolin Kung Fu. The basic art, the basic knowledge, the basic concept of Shaolin Kung Fu is very, very, very helpful, beneficial. I'm pretty sure if a nigga saw you hit this stance in a street fight, there actually is a video of a nigga hitting this exact stance in a street fight, and the nigga just backed off. It's hilarious. I gotta find that. But yeah, if you just practice the stances, you don't even necessarily need to learn how to do the kicks and whatnot. If you learn how to do certain stances like this, like for example, there's a stance like you can't really see it, but get your arms out like this, go like this, and then you go like this, and then you go like this, and then it's a couple of ones. It's a couple of ones. I'm trying to remember, but you learn those. You could look them up on YouTube. You don't got to take them classes, or whatever. If you can, if you want, it's your money. But I'm just telling, like, this is all about a certain. This is all about your resume, right? What not necessarily because you would actually have to know kung fu, you know what I'm saying, in terms of a resume. But I'm saying, like, this is about your profile picture, right? If a nigga see you doing some shit like this, you know what I'm saying, they're not gonna fuck with you, right? So this is all about helping you out, right? Now this right here, Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA. Boy, now a lot of y'all don't know, but I think if I'm not mistaken, Bruce Lee was trying to get this. He was in the works of trying to get this like hit like live back in the day, if I'm not mistaken. But man, if he did, ooh, man, a lot of this talk about Bruce Lee. Oh, Bruce Lee not really all that. He was losing street fights and shit. Man, I low-key wish we do have. I wish we did have like some more recordings of him like in actual fights and stuff. Because he did lose a couple, right? But them losses that he took made him the man that he is today. So I really wish like y'all could have seen like, man. Okay, now next thing we have is weaving. Okay, weaving is very effective. This is one of my favorites because if you just learn, you don't even know how to. Assuming you don't even know how to punch, right? For some odd fucking reason, all you need to do is learn how to watch. You got to learn how to study people's choreographs, right? Because when you throw a punch, there's certain things that your body does that'll let you know before it connects to your face that it's going towards you, right? Now, if you become a master at this, you'll be literally learn how to weave. You know what I'm saying? It can get to a point where you can learn how to dodge bullets and cars and shit. You know, so real shit. But hey, so this is very powerful. The only flaw is if you're going against a very skilled fighter like Bruce fucking Lee, he'll feint you basically. So what he'll do is if he sees you constantly weaving and shit, you know, that's why you don't want to spam this necessarily. You want to combine it, right? So if you're constantly weaving and shit, you know, you're gonna be scared. So all the nigga has to do is and then hit you with that, you know, or he hit you with and then while you're too worried about his hands, he'll hit you with a yeah. You know what I'm saying? I gotta stretch, my fault, but yeah. So that's why you gotta be careful. Oh, and now this is where we're getting into some of the legendary fight styles. Okay, I know this looks like Caucasian Jesus. This is from a TV show though, but basically his situation. Now this is kind of covering two things. One is the peaceful fighting style, except it's successful, right? You're like you have a certain peaceful passive aggressiveness about you, but that's still like defensive, masculine. You know what I'm saying? That you'll beat, like you give off this persona that you'll beat the nigga's ass, but you're just choosing not to. You let him have it, right? And there's another thing that this is representing. It's representing sickness, basically. So for those that don't know, this man, we'll call him Taki, right? Like the hot chips, Takis, right? This man, right, was destined to be a great fighter, right, among his clan. But basically, he got caught up in an explosion, right? And the dust from that explosion was so strong, basically he got sick, right? And then he had like 4 years to live, basically. So what ultimately I'm trying to say is, you can use a similar tactic, you know what I'm saying? just say that you have COVID or Omicron or whatever the new shit is nowadays, omnivirus, whatever the fuck. Say you got that, and niggas won't fuck with you, right? Because when you're fighting and stuff, they're getting your saliva, blood, sweat, and tears on your fist. Now you done got contaminated, right? Right? So something to think about. Now here comes the mythical fighting styles. These are for the advanced people, right? Let's get into it. Rest in peace. All jokes aside, rest in peace. Legendary Nipsey Hussle. Now, back to the matter at hand, the circle chain. This is the equivalent of a Keke Genkai. You don't want to mess with a brother with a circle chain, okay? He has techniques, certain abilities that you're not ready for. You do best to leave that brother alone, okay? Next up, the mysterious yet abrupt and convenient car crash of the individual who you have beef with, okay? This is very powerful, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I would be lying if I didn't say this happened to me, right? Not me getting in a car crash, but the individual who I had a problem with to a certain degree got into one. I don't know how he's doing today, right? I didn't know him, but he was just the person. I didn't really even have the person didn't even know me. I just didn't like what he was. Long story short, he was on a motorcycle. He was revving his engine. I'm with my mom at the time, and he just gave off this like Klansman type vibe, and it's just like, bro, I was not fucking with it. And long story short, he just got in an accident. Next, oh boy. Okay, so look, switches. Unfortunately, we know these are an unacceptable means of contact of brawling. However, in this day and age, we have somewhat accepted this reality. And although it's difficult, right, there are ways to counter this, right? There are ways to utilize the ignorance of young niggas using switches to your advantage, right? If you do some research on switches, right, more specifically the young niggas that use switches, you will realize they'll strike. They have certain patterns, right? They'll strike not only you, but they'll strike you if you have certain things, right? So what I mean by that is basically all the motherfucking social media posts you be having are you flexing all these damn bands in front of the fake ass Lambo you done leased from the car shop. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck you think you attracting? Nigga, the bitches? No. all them 10,000 likes you got, nigga, those are from the young niggas that's hunting your ass down. Next. Now, this is something I'm still practicing myself, still having some trouble with it, but this is the infamous bullet time dodging sequence from the Matrix, okay? If you can somehow manage to dodge a bullet, need I say more? Next, cauliflower ear. If a brother has a cauliflower ear, that means not only has he been in a fight and took some considerable damage and loss, he probably used that as fuel to go on an intense winter arc of him just becoming a killing machine. Do not mess with that man. Unless you have a switch. No, it's fine. No, for real. Okay. This one hits close to home. Not even from the fact that I have a baby mama, it just hits close to home for some reason. If you have a baby mama, right? It's oh man, it's different, man. Knowing that you have a companion, right? Female companion, not only that, but then on top of the fact that y'all created another being that's of you, but that's of yourself and them. And then knowing that somebody would want to, hypothetically, right, harm them, it triggers something in you, like real shit. It triggers something deep in you, right? You will literally know what it means to be consumed by darkness, is basically what I'm trying to say, right? Now, on the flip side, the baby mama can also be a weapon, right? Because if you do something that your baby mama don't like, she can ultimately use the fighting style known as child support and she can use the fighting style known as child support or alimony, right, to beat your ass down financially and put you in a state of oppression, right? So that's something you also have to be cautious of. Next, my personal favorite, the way of the intercepting fist, Jeet Kune Do, the man known as Bruce Lee. His principles of combining certain aspects of typical kung fu and then putting his own spin on it from his knowledge of other martial arts styles such as karate and Wing Chun and things of that nature. It makes it incredible. Using his knowledge of isometrics, it's really interesting to see not only how he improved his body through his means of exercises, but also how it improved mine through my studying him. I can honestly, truly say that it has helped me in more ways than one. So thank you, Bruce Lee. Now, thank you for this presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what is your most favorite fighting style, and let me know in your next bout were you successful. This is Redemption, and this is the Bible of Fighting Styles.